Hello, I'm Giles. This is Timothy Shieff, and you're watching Flow. And for some reason, the roles have reversed, and I'm interviewing Tim because we realised that we're interviewing all these famous freerunners, and we haven't interviewed the kind of most famous of them all.
I wouldn't call me that.
To swell your head.
Yeah,
like that.
All right.
But so I think we're going to go back to the very, very start, before you even started free running, because I always, like, when I'm talking about you, I'll tell my friends or whoever that you used to be a professional breakdancer, but I don't know, were you pro or?
I wouldn't call it pro. I was working at McDonald's as well, but I'd say semi-pro. I was making a bit of money from breakdancing.
And you were doing competitions.
I was doing competitions. We were winning competitions.
You're in a crew.
As professional as you can be in an English breakdancing team.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. What was your crew called?
Trinity. Based in Derby.
Okay.
Yeah, and that really was a massive passion for me at the time.
Yeah, and then what, you saw Jump Britain?
I saw Jump London, did it for a month with a few friends, stopped, faded out. Then I saw Jump Britain. I remember I was working at McDonald's. I'd set it to record at home. I was on my lunch break and it was on TV and when I was eating, and I turned it off so that I'd be like, oh, I can't wait to watch that. I think it was probably the next day because I was on a closing up McDonald's like 11 o'clock at night, went home. Next day watched it. Whoa, blew my mind. Thought that is everything. This thought didn't go through my head. Looking back, this thought is free running is everything I always looked for as a kid. Everything, breakdancing. I always did handstands, climbed trees. I always played football, but I'd always like rolling around and doing celebrations and things like that anyway. So everything led up to free running.
More of that unconventional sport rather than following the rules of a team sport or whatever.
Yeah, it was more exploring the movement of my body and the environment. And whereas breakdancing was cool because it was just the floor and your body, free running allowed for even more. Like, it was the evolution of breakdancing for me. It was multidimensional.
Yeah. So that was quite a contrast going from McDonald's to where we are now, but I guess there's a lot in between that shaped who you are. So I remember the first time I ever saw you was the park video in France, and you were doing like swinging on bars. I think it was in France. You were in like a summer park.
Oh, I was in France.
You swing on a bar and like drop into a handstand and things like that. And I remember that getting posted on UF. I don't know if YouTube had...
That was 6 months into free running.
Yeah.
So free running I started January the 11th, 2005.
Yeah.
And then I was on holiday with my family in Eurocamp in France, north of France, Brittany, and I was just so passionate and the weather was good and I was in shorts, topless, and like I did like head spring over like a...
That was the thing. I remember you had these head springs and handsprings and you drop into handstand, and it was already like, when it got posted on UF, you were like, kind of a different style.
It was unique.
It was unique.
There was no one else really. Definitely had a lot of breakdancing influence into it at the time. And I remember actually Phil Doyle was there the week before.
Phil,
But no, I didn't meet him there. But I remember hearing that him and Jason were at the exact same place the week before.
Yeah. It's a weird cross of
coincidence, which don't exist. But yeah.
So after that, I remember. How long was it before you first came to London?
Probably a while. Yeah, a few months. I mean, that was 6 months into parkour. I wasn't in UF, and it was really through Sticky because he was from Nottingham, I was from Derby.
Yeah.
I met him, trained with him, and he was in Urban Free Flow, so I really looked up to him.
And I remember there was quite a big London jam that you and Jan came down to.
Yeah.
And I was there. It was also the same day that Sticky and Forrest first Cat Pass Preed IMAX won. That was the first time it ever happened.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And you were there, and everyone was sessioning in the big block.
Yes.
And you were doing like. A few people could cat pass it and things, but you came along with these big arms and you could like double it, and you were doing all this.
I doubled it easier back then than I probably do now.
Yeah, I remember you doubling it, and everyone was like blown away.
And my legs were like way up high.
And Jan did.
I practiced them a lot more back then.
Yeah, Jan did a massive. He did the
precision or something.
Precision down near Haywood and all of that.
Yeah.
And then I remember that evening it got announced on Facebook, not on Facebook, on the forums that you got signed to UF. Yeah. Easy was blown away by you, so like straight.
Yeah, the first time I saw Easy and Blue, I was starstruck because I'd seen them in Jump Britain.
Yeah.
I've not been starstruck many times in my life. I can easily count it on one hand, and it would be Sing, Easy and Blue. It was coming out of a gym because I think it was started in a gym.
Yeah, I think there was a.
And I saw them come in, and saw them, and I was starstruck. Yeah, and who else? David Bell.
Yeah.
Is another one.
Lucky enough to meet David.
Yeah, really not spoke to him much at all, but that was another one. There's another, but I can't think of it right now.
So you were then in UF, and that was when UF really started to kick off, like big jobs were coming in for them. I remember they started getting like Adidas sponsorship.
Yeah,
they started getting the shoes made.
Yeah. I mean, I went to Iceland for Nokia within 9 months of doing free running.
Yeah.
And did a show out there with them, free flow. Such a fun trip. I got food poisoning. That wasn't so fun, from the meat, coincidentally. But the trip, Iceland's beautiful. To be 17-year-olds at school, I missed my prom. I was 18. I missed my prom from that because I was on a trip. But that's all I really wanted to do was pursue free running, and
I remember
that was incredible.
When you're at school and you get a job, and you don't have to go to school anymore.
And then we got a contract with Adidas maybe the year after or the year after that, and I was getting, I think it was either 1,500 or 2,500 every year,
just
to represent Adidas and Urban Free Flow. Like it wasn't nothing to do with it. I would only be allowed to wear Adidas trainers and clothes or Urban Free Flow, which is what easy.
And they made those, was it Hyper Rides?
They made it Hyper Rides, which I bought, and Sticky saw me when he first met me. I was wearing them, and they were really the shittest free running shoes ever.
And then they got those ones with the black toes on.
Yeah, they were a bit better. They
were pretty chunky,
rock climbing grip. They're very chunky, very heavy leather. Yeah. Easy really didn't care about making a quality product. He never spoke to us about what would be good in a free running shoe. He kind of just made his own mind up about what he wanted, and
what was going to be good for sort of financial reasons. But then
ruined the contract, scarred Adidas. They don't want to work with free running as much now.
I can imagine. So then how long after that was Dubai? Because I remember that was a big thing, like flying out, what was it, 25 athletes for like a month to Dubai or something.
Dubai was amazing. And
that video, Dubai Scream, that Claudio edited, is like, that's like the ultimate trip video almost.
He's talks about that still, like he wants to do another one. I would need to give him the opportunity to do that. That was such fun. And you know what, it was really Sticky and Jan and me, when we get together, like there was different pockets within that. You've got Easy and Kirby having a blast, and Claudio, and me, Sticky and Jan, when we get together, we always seem to get naked, completely in a non-sexual way.
Lots of poo getting thrown around.
There was poo getting thrown around, man. Like none of my feces was involved in that, but there was definitely like spunk in ice cube trays and getting frozen and put in glasses and like
fully
pubes
messy,
on toothbrushes. We really were like rock star. We were rock star kids. People sharing flashlights and things.
Yeah, you got to put up in that big hotel and things.
Yeah, in Dubai.
But didn't you then get kicked off because you just weren't? It wasn't.
No, well we went to the water park, got kicked out of there pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We rehearsed a show, but we were messing around every day and rehearsed the show. The Sheikh came along and watched the rehearsal because it was for his military.
Yeah.
And he wanted his military to look really gangster, so I hired some free runners. And it was just looked cheap. Even though he put money into it, it ended up looking cheap. I don't know if that was because Easy was dipping a bit too heavy in the pot.
Yeah.
Or if it was just didn't really work. And we ended up, they paid us the money, but they said, better off not having it in the show. Sent us home a few days early. But we were there for a couple of weeks, and it was a really fun trip.
Nice. And then how was that before Barclaycard, the first Barclaycard?
Yeah,
I don't think many people know there was the Roundhouse Barclaycard, which didn't get anywhere near.
That was my first ever moment because I never really had. No, I think there was a bit of hype when I first started doing videos on UF.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got a knee injury, and then I kind of...
So this was after the knee injury?
That would have been after the knee injury, yeah. So I kind of dropped off at that point, because I didn't really want to do height drops. I wasn't...
So you had patellar tendonitis?
No, I had torn my meniscus in both knees. I thought it was one knee, got it checked out, and then I remembered, my other knee hurt occasionally, and it turned out both knees had torn meniscus. I was like, whoa.
So you had an operation?
Yeah, they told me, you've got 20% chance you won't be able to run again on each operation, which is
nice to hear.
I cried myself to sleep. Like honestly, like I was very worried at the time. That he said it was successful, but I was out for a year and a half. Like really, my knees were in pain.
And that was where your handstands really.
I did a lot of handstands at home. I made a channel, Timmy Conditioning, on YouTube, which some people may remember.
Yeah.
Inspired by Bobby, and I just film on my little free Nokia that I got and put it on YouTube. Little just training at home. I honestly I didn't really train or condition that much. I would just put up clips of what I could do. It was more, what can I do?
Yeah,
and they kind of condition you as you're doing.
I remember Bobby was progressing, like, beasting out.
Yeah, he definitely worked hard.
Yeah, you came back from the knee injury.
And then 2008 World Championships came about in the Roundhouse.
Yeah, Roundhouse in London.
There was me, Pip, and Jenks were representing England.
Yeah.
And those two had a lot of hype around them, and I was kind of, because at that point I'd dropped off, I wasn't doing big flips, my knees really didn't like it, I was just doing the handstands, and I'm never really going to win a competition with that. But
you say that,
but as it came about, but just that though.
Yeah.
But obviously I had to add other elements. When it came about, I was able to look at the score. Well, no, the scoring system then was actually not that good, but
it was rated by the competitors.
The competitors judged themselves.
Yeah.
But I was just always been able to be creative and use a course quickly, whereas other people, it might take them a while to come up with the moves or the runs, or they just think, oh, where can I do a gainer, where can I do a wall flip?
Cenk's doing double gainers.
But I was like, how can I be creative on this course, and how can I link what's built for me, what in the environment?
Yeah.
And that seemed to always just score well with people, and I managed to come second by 1 point, of which the winner was Gabe from America, beat me by 1 point, and there was more Americans
in the judging.
Yeah. And there's rumours that one American judge that wasn't in the competition.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I'm not...
But, I mean, that was kind of
that makes me sound sour. It's whatever it is.
Yeah, you came second anyway. So that was like a tester almost.
That, for me, was like, whoa, I can do well in competitions.
Yeah.
On videos, I wasn't too much different from anyone else. But then when it came to that... Because competition is a whole other element, because you're applying yourself to the system, to the environment in a short space of time.
Yeah, you get a day to prep it.
The year after came.
So the year after was then
the World Championships that I won.
At Trafalgar Square, which I remember getting a ticket and going sitting in the audience.
Yeah.
So watching you and being like, I know him.
I know, 2009. I met a kid a few months ago and he still had a wrist pass from that event.
I met a kid this week who still had a wrist pass.
From 2009?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is crazy. So yeah, you won that.
I won that purely... well, there was... a judging system at that point.
Yeah.
And I was just able to apply myself to the judging system, which other athletes don't do, and I think if the ones that do seem to do better. You know, you've got creativity, flow, execution, and I was like, okay, so if I flow and I link this to this and I land nice, I get execution, and I really just didn't aim for difficulty, but I aimed for creativity, flow, execution.
And you had that little bit of showmanship. You got the crowd kind of like, you did like the clapping feet on the flag, things like that, like, and because it was that kind of audience where it was being live streamed to BBC.
It was live streamed and it's new, so it felt gimmicky. Like, I know it's gimmicky, man. But I know, like, clapping your feet in a flag.
But that's what people remember, like.
But at the time when it was new enough, audiences are fine with that. It's a bit of showmanship.
Yeah.
Free runners, it's a bit lame. I know it's lame. Like,
yeah.
But it worked at the time and it helped me.
In a way, you didn't push it too hard because there were people like George Mayfield.
Yeah.
He blew his knee out or something.
Yeah, trying double side flip.
Was it Getan? Speeders, he got injured, was it?
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
A lot of people, I think because it was such a big competition, a lot of people got quite injured.
It's the biggest there's ever been. Like, to have Trafalgar Square as a location is unreal. There's been nothing like it since.
And you controlled it a bit more.
There was £1 million at least put into that, if not more. There's 6,000 in the audience, 6,000 to 8,000 in the audience.
It's crazy.
And big structure. And I remember right before my final run, it's a nerve-wracking thing. I looked down and see someone, there's Trafalgar roundabout there, and someone was crossing the street, and I thought, you know, what's going on in his head right now? I've got all this pressure about to run this course.
He's just some guy.
He's just crossing the street. He's so relaxed. I was like, just cross the street, Tim. Just like, just do that. And that's literally what I told myself, and it worked somehow. Yeah.
And then I remember
giving Damien £5,000 helps as well. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Example then saw that, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he tweeted like.
That's the start of Twitter for me. I literally made Twitter a few weeks before.
Yeah.
Because Walters and Shieff, we were making Walters and Shieff.
Yeah.
With Damien, and I made my Twitter was actually called Walters and Shieff in the beginning. Not many people remember that because you can actually change your Twitter name without creating a new account.
Yeah.
I called it Walters and Shieff, used it. Damien never really used it in the end. World Championships came about, did them, and saw people tweeting my name, and I changed the thing to my name and replied, and then I saw this rapper Example.
Yeah.
Tweeted me, and I spoke to him, and he's like, "Oh mate." Yeah, but he was nobody at this time, wasn't
he? No, I mean, I've been a fan of Example for years, so I was I've always followed him, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you then kind of got hooked up with him.
And he blew up. That was before he blew up, and then he got really famous after that.
Yeah, and you kind of kept that friendship. And
he's a top guy.
What have you been in? Music video?
I did 3 music videos for him.
But what was the first?
Watch the Sun Come Up with Erin.
Was that the first one that he got you on? That was quite soon after Barcode, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So he got you on that, which was the remix.
Yeah, but I was barely in it, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that was kind of almost your first famous connection, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. And then I remember we actually met in Loughborough. You were hanging out with him.
Yeah.
And then where's it gone from there? I mean, it's just.
I always made YouTube. YouTube was my passion at that point. I always made YouTube videos. I had the most subscribers on YouTube out of any freerunner because I was hanging out with Danny a lot, Ilabaka, Phil Doyle, and I was the guy that was putting my camera out and filming it, even though it wasn't quality.
And Damien as well. You just knew. I mean, did you know at the time that YouTube was going to help you get places? Like, did you think kind of actively like, I'm going to keep putting out this content. I'm going to keep staying close to these guys.
I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the feedback, and it made me want to progress my skills.
Because there was definitely that like year, 2 years when it was just like you, Danny, Phil.
Yeah.
That kind of group.
Bobby a bit, Jenks, you know.
Jenks.
Yeah.
All around that time, and there were just beastie videos coming out, and that was when parkour really progressed.
But the quality of the filming wasn't good. The cameras weren't good, but it was the vibe. It was the vibe, I guess, and it was just good action. It wasn't trying to be artsy. It was just the action of what went on. It wasn't the in-between stuff.
And that was when parkour went from like, oh, look at these big precisions we can do, and look at these singular jumps to strides and plyos, and
that was just at the end of that point, yeah.
Yeah, it suddenly kind of progressed over that period, so I think that was
to blitz them period. And
a big period of capturing new styles of movement, and it was, I think people could look back to a very short period of time, a year before, and see the progression already.
Yeah. So I got millions of views. I'm astounded at that.
What's your your biggest show reel? That's 1.5 million or something, isn't it?
Yeah, is that like 2009 or something? Yeah, and that was just literally filmed in Derby, and it was not a quality film. It wasn't quality edit. It was a rest in peace to the guy that I can't remember. Was it Sage Francis? Whoever did the song for it?
No, Idea.
Idea. He died, and but that's his most viewed video on YouTube of his music.
Really?
Was that one? Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know how, and I did like New York. I free run New York.
Yeah.
Got over 500,000, and these are videos that if someone uploaded them now, they wouldn't get any views.
No, because they're shitty fisheye, like blurry footage.
Yeah.
Muscle up, handstand.
And it was the same with Damien. I helped Damien film some of his earlier show reels.
Yeah.
And but it's that virality of it not trying to be overdone or anything.
So
really
just
helped.
How did you meet Damien in the first place?
I emailed him on YouTube and he ignored me. Well, he probably didn't ignore me, but he probably didn't see them because he's not a very active guy online.
But I mean, you're both from Derby, so
you know, we were banned from his gymnastics centre.
Really?
All the breakdancers in our crew were banned because there was another guy that went to his gymnastics that was a breakdancer, and this guy is the biggest liar I've ever met, called Sammy, and he was from Nottingham, and he was in a rival crew, and he told Damien, don't let them come, they'll break all your equipment, they're scum, they'll steal stuff. And then eventually Damien met us, and he was like, well, these guys are all right. And then we were allowed to go, and we trained with him. And I was like, hey, Damien, try this trick. Oh, this is a free running move. Try this. And he'd try them, and he'd land them all first try.
So back then he was more just this sick gymnastic guy.
He was more sick gymnastic guy. He was creative. He was a funny guy. He had the video where he drops on his nuts on the beam, and he dresses as a girl. And he was just very open-minded, and so to go along and train with him, and I had this free running background and a creative mind, I could help him. We'd work together and come up with tricks, and he'd get me to try stuff, I'd get him to try stuff, and he'd really have that awareness like no one else, where he could just do them like that. And then we just really got on at that point and started hanging out and training.
Started doing Waters and Shieff, and that's obviously become its whole thing.
Yeah.
And Damien's obviously done incredibly well himself. So.
From a gymnast. Because a lot of gymnasts are scared to do a wall flip because it's not in the syllabus, but he had that other mindset and he's thrived from it. He's the Jackie Chan of our generation. Because YouTube is the cinema of our generation, and he owns that. So you think now it's Damien Walters, but you think in 20 years' time people are going to be like, oh, it's fucking Damien Walters. Like, it's going to be that name, you know?
Yeah.
And he's going to keep doing stuff anyway.
So going back to after kind of Barclaycard, you abandoned UF. Like, UF had been getting a bit rocky for a while.
The same day after Barclaycard.
Yeah, the same day you left UF.
Me, Jan, Sticky, Neil, I can't remember, Blue.
Yep.
We went to UF, we went to Urban Free Flow, because he made us wear Urban Free Flow t-shirts for the event.
Yep.
Didn't pay us anything.
That nice lime green one.
We found out he was bragging he had a shop there selling Urban Free Flow t-shirts. He was bragging to the other staff that were working on the event, saying he gets 6 figures off the clothing a year.
Yeah.
And we're the ones wearing it. If we didn't wear it,
he wouldn't get fucked up.
He wouldn't get any money. Yeah. But if we didn't wear it, he wouldn't use us for jobs. It was like a mafia.
Yeah.
So if you didn't represent his thing, he could use another kid for a job, an upcoming kid. So it was really mafia run, and we were sick of that. And I was like, you know what, done with this shit. We're not going to represent you anymore.
And winning that competition was a good platform for you anyway, wasn't it? So.
It was good, and it was stupid at the same time, because I'd won it. I was a part of Urban Free Flow, the company that ran it. If I stayed with them, they're obviously getting emails for work saying, oh, who was that guy? Easy was emailing them back saying, oh, he's injured, he's this, he's that.
Yeah.
Do you want to use this guy instead? And he was getting them to use Urban Free Flow athletes instead of me.
But it was probably a calculated risk. I think it'd be interesting to see.
Hindsight, it was a good decision. That was probably one of the first times I really started using my intuition. I felt inside it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I wanted my integrity.
So back. you all abandoned, and then Storm came about. So who started Storm?
It was Blue and Callie. Started it.
Because I think a lot of people think that, because obviously you're one of now kind of mainly the figurehead of Storm in a way.
I wasn't a founding member, but I would say I'm a founding member. I'd say I'm a founding member, but really the truth of the story is I wasn't. I was the fifth guy to come in.
It was all in the space of a short amount of time.
Yeah, there was Blue, Ash, Callie, and...
You and Jan must have come in at the same time.
No, we got Jan in after. I remember the moment we asked Jan, I was in Burton.
Okay.
And I decided with the other guys, Jan's a good guy, he works hard, he's the same vibe as us.
Yeah.
And he seemed stoked. I thought he might say no. He was really more than happy to join, yeah.
Nice.
Because we always wanted to be like Tempest. Tempest always started with 4 people.
Yeah.
And we always thought they was coolest when they had 4 people. They started overcomplicating things and adding all these other athletes. Yeah. And we never wanted to do that. So to bring Jan in was a
bit of a risk.
Not a risk, but it's something we didn't really want to do easily.
But was it public? I don't really remember Storm being public before...
Volume 1.
Not before Volume 1, obviously you were, but there was no real big push of Storm. It wasn't like...
No.
It was... I remember the website going up and a few photos and things, and the masks were quite prominent there and stuff like that, but like, it always seemed like it was U5 straight away.
It definitely wasn't, but I don't know.
But I guess it probably wasn't big on
I can't remember
media.
how that really came about, but I remember speaking to the other guys and they eventually agreed it'd be okay to have him.
Yeah.
We just wanted to do professional work. There's a guy that actually organised the Barcode thing, Mark, that's who really helped us out. He helped us set up the website. He saw how much Easy had corrupted us. Well, not corrupted us, but was corrupting the freerunning scene and wanted to support us.
Yeah.
And he's the nicest guy, man. He, from the bottom of his heart, he helped us out. He runs a company called Heart Productions, which put on the event. Yeah. Really successful company. He said when he was younger, he had a similar thing with a motorbike, trials riding. And he saw that and he had some money and wanted to help us out. So he helped us set up costs of a website and everything like that. And so thanks so much to him. And then Volume 1 came about with Cloudy, which was done on no budget, which was filmed over 4 or 5 months.
Months of going out, doing
getting 2-3 clips. You'd have ideas what you wanted to do. And I find it so hard to look back and think, how did we do it? But once you decide to do something, your motivator is there.
Yeah.
Like, we decided to do it, then we start doing the hard moves. But if I'm like, oh, should I film this clip for a show reel, but I've not started. Once you start it, the hardest thing is starting it. Once we'd started Volume 1, it was easy, but it took 4 months or something.
Yeah.
And then the edit was hard because I had to go at Claudius. I said that I wanted the video to be 3 or 4 minutes. I know what viral was viral on YouTube.
Yeah.
Came out at 8. I had to go at him. It was pretty harsh, a bit of a dickhead for that, but because it still worked at 8 minutes.
Yeah, and with the amount of content you had, you can't really. There was a lot. You would have to cut a lot out.
And music was a big thing as well because I know music's the most important thing in making a video viral.
Well, that started the whole glitch mob.
Exactly, and I was. There was people disagreeing with the music. I did want other things for me personally. I enjoyed more, but when we put Glitch Mob to it...
I mean, I personally never heard of Glitch Mob before Storm,
but when we put it to it, I knew it worked. Yeah. I knew viral-wise, it was a soundtrack.
And now Glitch Mob is used, it's like the GoPro advert, they use it on that.
It's a soundtrack. They make soundtrack music. And that was the hardest call, because Jan's really into his alternative music, and I loved that music.
What, the hip-hop beats and...
Yeah, the glitchy Hoodmo stuff.
Yeah.
But Glitch Mob worked better for a viral
epic,
and so we made that decision.
Yeah, and then not long after that, I guess it was probably a year or so. But I mean, you just started to get work as Storm and things, and then
a little bit.
I guess individually you wanted to do more for your YouTube channel and things, so you kind of approached us, and
that's when we first started hanging out.
Sort of said like let's start filming stuff. So we went up to first thing we did was go up and hang with Danny because we hadn't seen Danny in a while.
I think it was inspired actually by Maestro Knows, who does a series in LA on different celebrities.
I remember you telling me that.
And I thought, I'm friends with all these top freerunners, but other people don't really get to see what they're like behind the scenes. They just see the odd video.
They just see action.
They just see action, and I'm friends with them, and I'm very proactive. I feel very guilty if I don't do something for a while, and I've got this constant creative stream in my head sometimes of these different ideas, and that was one that stuck with me, that I should be doing this for the YouTube community to let them know what these people are like. So we started off with Danny.
Yeah, nice.
I needed someone that could film and do audio as well. That was the big criteria.
And me and Jamie just set up, and I think Jamie was away somewhere. Skiing,
we had a friend of yours, James.
We took James
assisted, and then that video subsequently got taken down.
Yeah, but things happen.
So
we filmed a few of those. You did
Phil,
went to Lease and things.
Yep.
And that was kind of the start of us, working together. Yeah. And then it's kind of just been like that for the last 3 years.
And we did Livewire's London Challenge.
Building.
And then it came about last year that the YouTube channel that manages us, the YouTube company that manages our channel is Base 79.
Started Flow,
and because of that work, which we didn't get paid from.
But they could see that we were capable of doing the right kind of thing.
Yeah, they could see we could present properly.
They could see we were a team and everything. So
even though it only got, I mean, you're not making money on YouTube till you're getting 1 million plus views.
Yeah.
And that stuff is getting 50 to 100,000 maximum, if that.
Yeah, max.
So we weren't doing that to make money, it was for the community. But then it rewards is that then you've got that footage to show them and they said, oh yeah, here's some budget for YouTube they've given us to make content for Flow. And then
that's been the last year, really, of just...
The year has been professional work for Flow. It's kind of... It ruined my passion for parkour. Like 6 to 9 months ago, I was thinking, am I going to quit parkour? I'll finish the year off and then I might do something else. I'm into veganism and all this other stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely changed the way I view a lot of filming.
Yeah.
But
because it was so much work.
Yeah. But it was fun and we've had some amazing opportunities through it. So you can't...
Yeah.
It's so hard to complain about something that's been so good, but then at the same time, like...
Lots of it was fun. Some of it was really boring or not fun, and you have to go through these periods of working and doing things you don't enjoy. It's learning, but now I only want to do things I enjoy. And
so I mean, obviously that's been going on for the last year, but I have seen you as a person and an athlete change hugely, probably in the last 2 years maybe.
Yeah.
And you've gone from being this kind of just like cool guy, free runner or whatever, and you've become much more spiritual and aware of your health, and obviously you've turned vegan, and also, but your work, like you've the amount of jobs you've got has increased rapidly. And do you think that's down to...
It all works together. Holistic's the word. I'd say my attitude to life has changed.
Exactly.
And so my life has changed.
There's so many free runners who I'd say are in the same position you were 2 years ago, where they're a professional free runner. That's all they do. They're getting by on money a little bit. Yeah. And then, but I wouldn't say a lot of them have stepped that next level up.
You have to have a purpose. These people don't have purpose. If you're just doing shows for Mercedes every other week, you're not going anywhere. You're just going to do shows for Mercedes.
It's like, I'm getting money and I get to do what I like as a job, so it all seems good. But like, you've taken it beyond that.
There's a good... Go on.
Yeah, what? It's just gone horrendously well for you, really.
Yeah, well, there's a good talk I saw on YouTube, a guy called Neil Gaiman, and he said, if you're... Put what you really want at the top of a mountain.
Yeah.
And if you're just doing it, every job is just doesn't get you closer to that top of that mountain, then don't do it. If you're just circling the mountain, so if I was just continuing to do live shows, I'm just circling the mountain.
Yeah.
Whereas if I say no to live shows and then a music video comes along and I say, okay, I'm not choosing jobs on money now, I'm choosing jobs on...
kind of connections.
On connections and what's getting me closer to the top of the mountain, being in a position... Like, celebrity culture is a very strange one for me. I meet a lot, and
and this is the thing.
There's nothing wrong with being a celebrity. It's what you do with it at that stage, and I'm no shame in saying I'm headed that direction.
Oh, definitely. Like you're not borderline celebrity, but you're hanging with those people.
But I have a responsibility with that. I have so much. I have faith that my message is righteous. As weird a word that is to use. So freely. No, but my message is righteous, and I want to get that to a bigger audience. I just want to promote fruit and vegetables to kids,
This is the thing, you haven't lost your message.
Yeah.
And the people you're kind of hanging with and working with now are in line with that.
Yeah.
So like, it may not be the most public knowledge.
The universe delivered that to me. Then.
Yeah, and like you've gone, you went down to Cannes and spoke to Jamie Oliver's manager, who then got you involved in...
Because they were filming Epic Veggie Time.
Yeah.
If I wasn't a veggie vegan, I wouldn't have been invited to that.
Yeah.
Because I'd made a decision with my life, and for me that synchronicity is evidence that I'm doing the right thing. I made the decision to be vegan. I met these guys that were filming Epic Vegan Time, Epic Veggie Time. 2 days later, I was at Jamie Oliver's house, filming that with him, having a laugh with him.
Since then, you've done jobs for him.
Since then, I've been to Toronto with him.
Doubled
he's
him.
Got me. Yeah, he's got.
Well, you were with him the night before this interview doing a live, and it's like
I've done a lot of work with him. He's a top guy because it's a law of attraction. If you're similar to something, you attract it.
Yeah.
And
because I think there's a lot of like
you have to not be afraid to speak out for what you truly believe. If you change yourself to how your culture is or to how people around you are, and never really become yourself. What it was learning to become myself. I read a book called A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
And it really just helped me see what parts of my inside me were ego, what parts of me were culture influence, what parts. And once I was able to separate those things, I was able to find myself in there and really start to speak out for myself. And when you do that, you meet other people that are similar, and me and Jamie Oliver are quite similar people in regards to attitudes and stuff.
And I just think there are so many people in this world who just see a celebrity or see an idol or whatever, and they just view them just as that, and they're just like, oh, I really want to meet them.
Yeah.
It'd be so good to meet them. They're really cool. But like, they don't realise that there is the potential that if they work towards that thing, they could have it. And it's like, you've got to envision it and work towards it.
I've always believed I'm similar to people. Everyone's similar. So when I meet a celebrity, I always thought I could get on with them. Not, I want to meet them, take a picture, and then get on with my life and have fun over here.
So I was like, no,
and I have a pure appreciation and respect. Like, he's done so much for animal welfare.
Yeah.
When I meet him, I'm grateful of that. I'm not just, it's Jamie Oliver, the guy on TV, it's another celebrity. I'm like, dude, like, he's doing a great job. It's an honour for me, and for our paths to cross.
Yeah, you know? and those conversations aren't just like, oh my God, you're amazing. It's like, there's a deeper level of conversation that you can have, which then builds that friendship.
Yeah.
Because if a free runner meets you and goes, oh my God, I love you, like...
I don't want to talk about free running. If you're free running, you come up to me, I don't want to talk about free running. I like conscious conversation. Yeah. When you meet someone, you're meant to meet them for a reason, right? And if you just talk about how's your day, free running, precision, that, I can front flip, that's not not elevated conversation. You have to elevate conversation to conscious conversation, where you're talking about ideas and life and spirituality, and that way you really get to the core of who a human is.
And like an example is like Harry Gallagher.
Yeah.
He came along to that. We happened to bump into him when we were filming a couple of months ago. Yeah, a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And happened to be on the same train as us, and you were like, oh, just like come chill or whatever.
Oh, was it on the same? He just got on the same train as us.
I think so. I can't remember. But
yeah, I do regularly remember.
He was going to go home, and then but you were just having a good conversation, and he wasn't like, you hadn't really known him before that.
No.
But he's a cool guy. You were just chatting, and he wasn't talking about free running or anything like this.
Yeah.
And now you guys are training quite a lot.
Yeah.
And that's just through
speaking openly,
and
I'm not afraid to talk about energies and vibrations and things to anyone, and that way the ones that you connect with that understand that, and it's cool.
Yeah.
Or some people are just willing to listen. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think, and as long as people are open to conversation, there's people who are close-minded, and I don't think it gets you anywhere in the world. Whereas, like, I say, you 3 years ago were a completely different person to who you are now, in the way you look, in the way you are.
I don't feel like I was. I just feel freer now. I was
probably because you can see the progression. You can look back and see the points where you started to change. Whereas if somebody met you 3 years ago,
I feel like inside I'm the same person.
Yeah.
But on the outside, I represent myself as this new person. But that's because I am who I have always been inside. But I was always sheltered. I wouldn't speak openly about certain things I'd feel because I would be scared to alienate myself, or people wouldn't agree with me.
Yeah.
Or things, or I'd always want to have to please someone, or there's someone to answer to, so I wouldn't want to upset them, or I'd want to impress this person, so I'd act this way.
But now you admit it. Yeah. And it's what you are, rather than
You are what you attract what you are as well. So
I just think, like, I'll always be sort of at dinner with friends or whatever, and you're talking about free running, and you're obviously always you'll always get brought up because I'm with you every week or whatever, and I'm travelling with you and all of this, and you have done so incredibly well out of essentially, because people assume that free running is just like
that you can make a living from this. They can't believe you can.
And when they do, they assume you're just doing shows every week, but it's like, you're a very good point to bring up to say, look, like, you can achieve more than just being a sort of a stuntman, essentially. You can achieve all this, like, look where it can get you and things.
Yeah, picked up from airports with your names on signs and fancy Mercedes and things, man. It's cool life.
Yeah. But I think it's just a good thing for kids to see, because like but I mean, it's so easy to see your YouTube, like, if we looked at you at face value on YouTube, it's like, here's my YouTube videos, I'm training, oh, suddenly I've got one job, oh, suddenly I've got another job, and then the jobs progress. And it looks, I don't know, I think it's, people need to hear your story, and like, you're by far one of the most interesting people I know in every sense of everything. Like, and people need to realise that you can go from working at McDonald's, doing something you quite enjoy, like breakdancing, and thinking that's your dream.
I did.
And then opening up a little bit and taking in something else. Like, you might enjoy free running now, but there could be something else that's actually
completely follow your bliss, like you said about bullet points. If in 2 years' time I don't enjoy freerunning, I will stop. I'm not afraid to stop freerunning if I don't enjoy it anymore.
Because you'll stop when you found something that
I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
Like your passion is there for a reason. So if you're not passionate about something, there might be a reason to stop it. I got my passion back for freerunning, just going back to that point, when I stopped going out with a camera.
Yeah.
Because the whole year we're filming for Flow, every time I went out, there's a camera on me. And I thought, it's obviously not your fault, but I decided to go out and train without a camera. And the first time I did that, I was amazed.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Because you're not necessarily trying to do the biggest things for show.
That's why I started freerunning. I went out without a camera.
Yeah.
Like it overtook me. Like it's great to do that as a hobby, but you've got to, in the sidelines and background, just enjoy what you're doing as well, and can't lose that.
Yeah.
So I'd love now to move more into the vegan world and become quite like do some entrepreneurial work within that, so that I can kind of make a living from that and do parkour as a hobby again, and only do the jobs like passion projects that I want to do.
That are involved in the things you want to do, that are promoting good health. Or
just follow your passion, honestly. If you don't enjoy freerunning, quit. Like, there's no point doing it. There'll be something else for you that's in line with your soul that it wants to do.
And that's obviously not us saying just quit, give up, but
follow your bliss is the truest thing. One of the truest statements ever said. Follow your bliss. If it makes you feel that peace, then do it. If not, then don't.
I think going back to the vegan thing is like, after knowing you for however long, like, and sort of you opening my eyes more to the vegetarian vegan kind of side of things, I can see there's a lot of like potential for entrepreneurial work, and it's really quite an untapped market. So like there's definitely a future in that. There's somewhere, a hot future, and you're definitely pioneering a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not so involved that I don't know all these other vegan YouTubers and things and all these raw diet people, but I see constantly like. I mean, I guess like it's things you retweet, but like and stuff like this. But you share your influence that you're having on the world. Yeah. Like you posted, some woman messaged you the other day. About things like that. And she's not a free runner, and like. Yeah. And if your friends and like huge, and just through the Flow show and things like this, like I see kids on Facebook who you probably don't have as friends who are like, oh, I've been vegetarian for a month now, like
feeling good.
Or... Yeah, exactly. Like, and if they're free runners, it's 90% going to be you that's done that, and it's like you're in that position and you're using it well. You're not just being some ball.
It's a dangerous game though, because it's obviously scary when it's something as like someone emailed me the other day and they said, oh, you got to be careful speaking on stuff like that, because if you change your opinion, then you're going to look like an idiot. And I'm like, you know what? I don't speak out on things often unless I truly believe in it. Veganism is something that I really believe in. I've been given an ability that a lot of, I think, freerunners actually have, is to pick up on something early before it's actually cool and popular. Yeah. And freerunning is one of them. Yeah. There's no other sports as young as this right now that you can be involved in. We really, truly see it for what it is, and it's in its infancy, and we have a responsibility to raise it properly. There was that KFC advert in America recently that Tempest did, and they also was a BMX advert on the same channel with no one in the BMX community said shit. The freerunning community kicked off.
Because the BMX is so established, it's so spread.
Yes, because that makes me proud that the freerunning community realised that.
It still feels like a family, it still feels like friends. Like, we all know each other well enough. Like, it doesn't take... You can see a video of somebody on YouTube, Google and search their name on Facebook, and you've probably got friends in common with them. Like, everyone still knows everyone.
But the responsibility, people are taking it to themselves. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying with the veganism thing, that I don't speak out on things easily. This is one thing that I spotted early, that I have such faith and belief in, that it's going to grow. It will grow. Like, at the moment, there's a Holocaust that still exists on animals. And it's not fair. They're innocent creatures.
But it already has grown, I think.
Well, it has grown, and it will continue until the world's vegetarian, because we realise what we're doing now. And we can only be blind to it for so long. I can't believe I didn't see it earlier, to be honest. And there are people that are watching this that will completely disagree. And that's fine.
Because 4 years ago, I remember eating breakfast with you up with Danny in Liverpool, and I remember you eating blood pudding or whatever it is. Yeah. There was no thought about it then.
No, not a single thought, because it's so conditioned, and it's tradition for us, it's habit,
there's people in different stages in their life of where they're...
Yeah, but the fact that you do not need meat to thrive as a human being, then why would you ever want an animal to die? We have been given this life as a gift. Now, I appreciate life so much. If it ended, I would be upset. my ego would be out. If I died, it's whatever to me. But there's a part of me that would obviously be upset.
You'd be dead.
Yeah, I'd be dead. There'd be friends that'd be upset, family.
Yeah.
Whatever. So why am I gonna then choose just for a meal when I don't have to have it to take that from a chicken when he's got family and friends or whatever? Or the cows, whether they have or not, that's irrelevant. That's not my call to make.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not got any friends. I can kill him and eat him. No,
Yeah.
It's not about that.
I saw a photo actually the other day of an elephant that died in a zoo. No, not an elephant, a monkey. A monkey died in a zoo.
Yeah.
And they were taking the body out, like carting it across, and every single monkey lined up against the fence to watch the body be taken. And they all look so depressed.
They're not stupid, man.
No.
They're really not.
I saw I think a duck got killed on the side of the road, and another duck just standing next to it, like cars whizzing past, just staring at the body.
You know, ducks rape dead ducks.
Do they?
Yeah. I don't know if it was waiting for the cars to stop going, but they do. They're necrophiliacs, some of them. But the thing is, like, slitting a human's throat is the most fucked up thing, right?
Yeah.
But we slit cows' throats. You think that doesn't hurt a cow? Cows have nerves the same way a human does.
Yeah.
That hurts a cow as much as it hurts a human. That's not fair. That cow has got calves.
Yeah.
They rape cows, so they impregnate them, have babies, take the babies from them, so the cow gives milk for the baby, but they don't give it to the baby, they give it to you to drink at home.
Yeah.
Like, that whole industry is corrupt. There's rape going on, like, constantly. There's no humane slaughter either. For people to say, oh, but it's okay if it's grass-fed and then we kill it humane, there's no such thing as humane slaughter.
Still getting killed.
You're still getting killed. You don't take a woman out to dinner. Have you seen this?
No.
I mean, yeah, you don't take a woman to dinner and, like, buy her some flowers, take her for a nice dinner, take her home to your apartment, put on some nice music, give her a drink, and then slip her a roofie and rape her. There's no nice way to do it. The act of rape is wrong.
Yeah.
The act of killing is wrong. There's no humane killing.
It's immoral, isn't it?
It's completely immoral. And the more I think about it, the more it's insanity to me. But it's the same way slavery was fine a few hundred years ago, and people like me and you would have slaves, and we would have thought nothing wrong because it was the culture.
Yeah.
It was the culture. Black people aren't as good as white people. It's that's what they're here for.
Yeah.
But that was normal. But then a few people triggered. Actually, no, they're pretty similar. I had a conversation with a black guy, and he was pretty deep. No, they're all right. You know, they're not that different. Animals, they're not. You love your dog. You stroke your dog. You go to a farm. Pigs are pretty happy animals when they're like running free. Why are you going to kill it for some bacon, man?
I love pigs.
Yeah.
That would have been a terrible thing for somebody to edit.
Yeah.
No, you going.
I know, they could make me look really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that, I was like, oh shit.
No, I'm saying it truthfully, man. This is how people used to think it was okay. People still think it's okay to kill animals, and I've realised it's not okay to kill animals. Not when you're healthier without it, anyway. That our ability to eat meat is completely a survival thing. Humans have been given this really amazing ability to survive in extreme conditions. We're so flexible.
Well, we're the most advanced species of the entire planet.
Genetically,
yeah. So we can
survive in all these extreme scenarios, but so that's where it ends though. The fact that when you're in a Western country and you're not living in an ice barren land and you don't need to hunt narwhals,
yeah.
Then you don't do it.
One thing I've never actually thought of until we just spoke about that is there not the potential that as history goes on, and obviously the majority of the world eat meat, that we will evolve to be even better at digesting it?
What, digesting meat?
Genetically.
But why would you want to?
I'm not saying I'd want to.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
I don't think so. It gives us cancer. Stuff like that. It makes us...
That's the thing. It's
survival of the fittest, and people aren't as fit that eat meat.
No.
Like, not bluntly, because obviously most athletes eat meat in certain proportions, but generally...
Not this 21st century...
Like, people will say, oh, but I know a friend who went vegan and got ill, or, oh, but there's this story of this vegan that died. Great. I hope some vegans, some people get ill trying to be vegan and doing it wrong. Not personally, but the amount of people that are dying eating meat is so much more than the amount that would ever...
How many people do you know get colon cancer and all of this? So.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. Going off the whole vegan thing.
Yeah, let's go off that
That
for
could go for hours.
Yeah, I know.
What's your view on competitions nowadays? Because obviously you used to compete, you've won numerous competitions, Red Bull, etc.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever really backed Red Bull as a company drink-wise because of...
No.
I think a lot of people competing...
Don't drink Red Bull.
Yeah, but people obviously respect Red Bull for what they do for sport and the way they push things.
Oh yeah, amazing company. everything but the product is great.
Yeah.
The people they hire are really good, young, hardworking, creative people. The projects they put on are really well done, well executed.
Yeah. But competition in
original.
general, because obviously Red Bull's only one quarter of it or whatever at the moment.
No, I'm not down with competition anymore.
No.
I've always felt it inside. It's the same with the vegetarian thing. I guess there's always a part of me that must have recognised it to know it now.
Yeah.
I've always felt inside competition wrong. When I've been involved in them, I've always had a weird feeling. I always thought that was nerves for the competition, but really it's just it's a mixture of that, and I shouldn't be involved in them. No human like competition. Sebastian says it best: it's a modern war. Because people straight away want to compare you. I have this title of World Freerunning Champion, and it's great for my CV, and it's something that the current culture really recognises, and that's. But then they put that label on me, and that's if I'm introduced to someone, oh, this is Tim, okay, oh, he's Freerunning Champion, oh, you're the Freerunning champ, oh, then in their head they're like, I've met the Freerunning Champion, like that's the thought in their head, and that's not. You want to be known. You're not your talents. You're who you are as a man, as a human. Your actions outside of your talents are who define you.
Yeah.
Not what you've been given. That's a gift. God gave me the gift of freerunning, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But outside of freerunning, what I do there, that's what defines me as a person.
Yeah, because that's just, as you said, just a gift and a talent.
Yeah, that's something I use to help people to listen, but it's outside of that. That's where you get, say, a Formula 1 driver is really cocky, or like Andy Murray, he's not cocky, but he plays tennis. He's a great tennis player.
But he's got that kind of grumpy.
But he's just going to ride on the fact that he's a tennis player, or is he going to do great things outside of that? And then it's not just Andy Murray, the tennis player. He's a great man, and that's what he uses as his platform.
You do definitely hear about some sporting people or celebrities in general who
do great things outside of
Russell Brand, for instance.
Yes. My hero,
a comedian or an actor or whatever you want to call him, but
he's a great man.
Yeah,
I hate it when they say that. Russell Brand comedian. I'm like, he is a lot more than a comedian.
That's the thing. It's like there's a level above what, because
their label is. Yeah,
he could go on just a chat show and do so much more than make you laugh or sort of act or anything
philosopher.
Like that. Yeah, exactly.
And I want to be known as more than Tim Shieff the Freerunner, and so should everyone. Should aspire to be more than just a single label.
I think you've already created that. It's just growing, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that. I know that's
obviously there's pockets who will refer to you. There'll be a vegan community who will refer to you as this vegan guy who's a freerunner. There'll be people who say you're a freerunner who's a vegan,
and that's fine. Yeah.
So I think everyone will always get kind of a label because
it helps. It helps in summating someone.
Yeah.
And it is definitely a useful tool. But I just know that in the long run, I just don't want to be another freerunner. I don't want to get hired because we need some freerunners. Oh yeah, your name's Tim, but the name isn't matter. I want to be hired because I'm Tim Shieff and I've got integrity with what I do. And if you want your product, like that's why I back Vita Coco over Red Bull.
Yeah.
Because it's a company I can believe in. Zero to do with what money's involved. 100% to do with the product.
Yeah, exactly.
And going back to competition, I don't want any involvement because at the end of the day, we always say, oh, competitions are friendly, the vibes, I don't know if I've said this on camera, but the vibe's always good. And everyone's happy, and it's a great opportunity for freerunners to get together and hang out.
Which is very true.
Which is very true. But there's always someone at the after party that's less happy than the person that won.
Yeah.
There's always an energy shift.
There's always somebody who feels like they've missed out a little bit, or somebody who feels a little bit too happy.
And there's always, exactly. There's always a shadiness of tricks, and there's as much as we say it's friendly, everyone there would like to win. Everyone would like to win.
Of course they would.
But every time I've won, I've never felt any better than any time I've not won.
I remember when you won Art Motion London, and people kicked off that Eric didn't win, and there was a huge negative thing towards you because people thought Eric should have won. But
and even when I won that, I felt like I shouldn't have won, because the thing is, the skills you have, you never feel like they're that hard to do because you have them.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are athletes that risk themselves have done swing double backs and have not felt that comfortable, but they've still done it and then landed it and then won, and they've been like, they've pushed. I've never really done anything that scared me that much, and I think people have always I've stayed in my comfort zone, and people have always felt like I probably didn't deserve to win because I've stayed within my comfort zone. But that's not the criteria, isn't going outside your comfort zone.
No,
difficulty is an element of it, but it's not.
But if it's difficult to the judges, then it's difficult. It's
subjective.
It's subjective. But what are your thoughts on if competition changed? Because at the moment it's all kind of trick and skill based and things. But there have been speed competitions, which
that's my favourite.
They seem more true to what parkour should be.
Yeah, a speed competition has got no subjectivity.
No, the problem is there's obviously still that maybe he should have won.
But I guess there could be a maybe he should have won. There could have been. There could be someone happier than someone else. Yeah, and the jealousy and those emotions, those negative energies will be floating about. They'll be nowhere near as prevalent. If that prevalent. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess it's. I mean, jealousy exists in the world. It'll always exist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can get a new car or something, and I'll be like, oh, I want that car or whatever. Like, that's always going to be like that.
Was it don't covet thy neighbour's ox?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
It shouldn't, but it always will.
Yeah.
I think there's no real way you can... Like, you see it in animals. Animals will steal other animals' nests and stuff because they're better and things like this. But there'll obviously be a little bit of that in competition, but there's a lot less when it's true and fair.
And then at least that's more of a gauge of what you can train the same thing as each other. Whereas in the other competitions, someone could train congainers and someone could train precisions, and the person that trains congainers is probably going to win. Whereas everyone's just got to train. And it's
interesting, and it also kind of might push the direction of some styles of movement, because people might think a cat pass is the fastest, or maybe a running front, which might stay true for if everything,
for a shorter person, a taller person, a different move might be faster.
Yeah,
and then
if everything were to go into speed competition, so this was the way forward, everyone might think, okay, here's a block up.
You could see it in the Olympics. It would be better than the 100-meter sprint.
You see it in the Olympics, but also like for something like 50 years, high jump, people went over forwards initially. Yeah. One guy came along and
Fosby flop.
Changed it, went over backwards.
Yeah.
So like you'd see that, you'd suddenly see.
It would help evolve it, but they're split. The thing is, parkour is just a label for what we do. Parkour, really, the word in English is play.
Yeah.
It's completely just play. Everyone as a kid climbed on the sofa, they climbed trees, they went into a playground.
Yeah.
But parkour is that as an adult. It's an evolved form of that.
I think for the last, maybe since it started in Jump sort of 2003, Jump London, and maybe for the first 7 years, 8 years, it was like precisions and arm jumps and things. But now this new style of the more flowy movement where somebody might do something that isn't necessarily dangerous or impressive, but actually when you try it, it's really hard to do. And that's just playing, it's creativity. Pasha, Jason, etc.
Yeah, it's constantly evolving.
Even other kids like Joseph Marks from London, and you see these kids coming up who just have this style where they literally go out and play. They don't go and go, I'm going to do cat pass pre, or I'm going to do an arm jump.
Changed.
It changed.
But you get in different pockets, because there are always people that different things will be passionate to them.
Yeah, obviously.
For me, what dictates it is the environment I'm in, because I enjoy both.
Yeah, that's something I credit you a lot for, because you are not the best free runner in the world at all. Like there are people who can do bigger things than you and
100%.
can flow
more
better
spins,
than you.
more.
But you can adapt, because you used to be very. I'd say you were more into the parkour side. You had your tricking element as well.
Yeah.
But then we can go on a trip like Hong Kong, where you're put with Jason Poole, and you two can sort of almost match each other in movement.
Yeah.
You put these flowy runs together, which I think a lot of people, like someone like Kai, would struggle more to adapt to that style of movement, because he's very focused.
But then I can train with Kai and do the parkour stuff
exactly.
as well.
So that's where I really credit you, is because you can kind of adapt to whatever you're given.
I'm just open-minded and I enjoy. I do enjoy all aspects. I'm kind of a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Which helps, because then I've got more diversity, and
which suits you for jobs and just playing, really. Like.
For playing, I can go anywhere with anyone, and that comes from growing up training with people like Danny, and then like Damien and like Kai and Phil. I've always looked up to all of them equally, so I've always wanted to have little elements of each of them in my training.
So where's the future for you?
For me?
For the next 5 years, like what do you see free running you?
I want to travel more, though. I want to do less jobs and travel more and have more experiences. The last year was a lot of work for flow. A bit of pressure involved with that. I want to have no pressure. I want to do passion projects. I want to do 2 or 3 really good creative videos a year with different people there are people that I really want to work with. People like Brahim or Anis.
Yeah.
Or these people that I think have so much style. Like, I really respect style.
Yeah.
But they're not necessarily free runners, but
it doesn't have to be that.
No.
I think creative people should get creative with each other. Like,
that's it. And we made the video with William Spencer and Ilabaka, that with the ghost riding the car.
Yeah.
Things like that were such fun passion projects for me.
And they're not so constrained to one movement or style of anything.
I want to do more like that.
But necessarily video, or do you want to do some things that aren't even captured?
Photo shoots. I did the one with Jason where I'm naked that will come out soon. That was a fun passion project. But no, I want to do stuff that's not captured. I want to go experience.
More for yourself.
I want to go to Peru or Hawaii and eat some food.
I guess the problem about things that aren't captured is they're harder to fund if there's no output of them.
It's not about getting funding. It's hard for me to do something and not capture it because I always feel like what I'm doing has an important message with it.
It would have to come out of your pocket.
I've no problem paying for trips out of my pocket. I just feel like if I went to Hawaii to try different fruits, I'm still going to Instagram them or something like. Do you know what I mean? If I go,
I don't think there's anything that wrong with that.
Okay. Because a part of me feels like there is. I should be able to go through life and not have to share what I'm doing. But then I feel so trapped in that. Not trapped, but I'm in that world now. It's like,
I think we're all in that world. I don't think as much as it's kind of rewarding to stay out of that world and stay away from social media because it's restraining you. At the same time, you're spreading a message with, if you go to Hawaii and you're eating fruit, you might discover a fruit that not many people have heard of.
Probably my role in this lifetime. Maybe the next one I'll get to not have a phone.
Yeah. Well, the whole system might have gone corrupt and there might not be phones and
stuff. Not the corrupt, the opposite way. They might have woken up and been like, actually, you remember before when we didn't have phones and everyone was a little bit happier because,
the thing I'm scared about is like having kids and not having them like, because I spent my entire childhood playing outside and that, like...
Me too, climbing trees.
Kids
always want to do that if you let them.
Yeah, they always do.
Kids want to eat oranges and raisins and they don't mind vegetables if you have the right attitude to it. Kids have more knowledge than adults. They're way wiser than adults.
Yeah.
I had a really good story the other day and a kid's dog was dying, had cancer.
I heard this,
and they had to put it down. And it was a 6-year-old boy, and the parents wanted the boy to see it be put down. They wanted him to experience the death. And the kid said, "Oh, I think he's dying young because we come here to learn love. And once we learn love, we can go. And dogs learn love a lot quicker than adults."
Dogs are born knowing it already.
Yeah, knowing it.
Because he didn't cry, and the parents were crying, and they're like, "Oh, it's too soon." And he was like, "It's not too soon. Like, we have to learn love, and it takes years, and then we get married, and we learn love, and all of this, and then we die. Whereas dogs are born with it, so they."
This is a 6-year-old boy speaking the truth.
Yeah.
And there was that other one, the 3-year-old boy from Brazil speaking Portuguese.
I haven't seen that.
He was eating the octopus, and he's like, "What? So, this isn't a real octopus, is it, Mum?" She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "What? It had head and legs." She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Why are we eating it?" He's like. She's like, "Oh, we eat cows and chicken as well." He's like, "What? I don't like that we kill animals. We don't need to eat them. I just eat the potato." Like, and I'm like, yes, these kids are wise, man.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Closer to the source. Yeah. They come from wherever,
So you want to do less... Because, I mean...
I want to train parkour. I just don't want to document it as much. And then I want to do the projects that There are people I respect in the world, and it means a lot to me when I get respect from them for doing what I do. So I just want to do things that gain me respect from them. For me, I know you shouldn't have to do things for respect, but it's a nice marker that you're doing things right. If people you look up to you as well.
I think also it's not necessarily friendship, but when there's mutual respect, you feel like you're on a... There's no egotistical, like, they're better than me or anything like this. It brings everyone down to the same level. Everyone's in a different
art form. I like having friends that are in different media.
Yeah.
Parts of the media, different industries, different art collectives, and it's nice for me to do what I do in my thing and then show them, and you know, when you get real respect, it's quite satisfying, you know.
Yeah. So, but I mean, you have this huge kind of fan base of free runners who obviously look up to you, and you have influenced them hugely. A lot of them are turning vegetarian. A lot of them were probably watching this and thinking like, okay, I want to aim for higher things at the top of the mountain rather than go around it. So like you influence all these people, and obviously I feel like if you were to turn around, and obviously you never would, but if you were suddenly be like, I'm not doing that anymore, it would not be insulting them, but I feel you have that respect. You have not respect.
If I quit free running, I've got a following.
Not even quitting free running, because I still feel the following would follow you.
Yeah.
But I feel like you always have to bear them in mind.
Yeah.
And I think you as a person, you have to share your message because you're at that level now.
Yeah, but if I went away for a year and came back, I think I'd learn a lot in that year and come back with something even beyond that.
I don't think you could quit though. I think you'd still train.
I would never quit parkour. No, I honestly feel like I've done enough up and downs with parkour where I've been like, I might quit it. I love it. I might quit it. No, I love it. That now I'm like, no, I love it. Like,
and there's going to be times when you're going to train hard, and there's going to be times
when I think about why I do parkour, I sometimes don't have an answer. But when I just do it, it feels right. That's the answer for me.
There's I think that's quite a good point to end.
Yeah.
Nice little saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been a long one with Tim, but hopefully you've all enjoyed it. He's a
if you've watched up until this point, we made it. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about my life and ideals and stuff.
We'll see where Tim goes in the future. I know I'm always keen to know where Tim's going in the future, mainly because
you're there with me.
Yeah, usually getting dragged along behind with a camera or whatever happens.
Thank you for that, Giles.
That's fine.
I think you're helping a lot. Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed it. This has been Flo. Remember, subscribe, all of that stuff.
I hate that we have to say that, because it really doesn't feel right. But you just see other people say it, so then we say it.
Yeah.
But I actually think saying subscribe
at
the end of this video probably made zero difference. I don't know if we gained a single subscriber from us saying that. That's real talk right there. Because everyone says it in everything. But honestly, do you think we gained a single one from saying subscribe then?
I feel like if people got to this point, if they hadn't have subscribed, they would have by now, or they wouldn't have.
Yeah, exactly.
Us saying subscribe isn't going to make a difference.
So just keep being real and
follow your bliss.
Follow your bliss. All right. Much love.
Bye-bye.